Baweep Grano Weep Nitty Bong, I'm Engineer Hoist, and these are my favorite figures that I added to my collection in 2020. First up, some honorable mentions. TFCon exclusive Fans Hobby Wheelblade, aka Windblade. I've been a fan of Windblade since the creation of the character a few years ago. I couldn't pass up an opportunity to get a figure of her sporting a new ground-based alt mode. Earthrise Alicon. It may have taken over 30 years to get more characters from Quintessa other than Gnaw, but Alicon here is a perfect representation of that Quintesson welcoming committee that just can't get enough Energon goodies. Cyberverse Adventures Macadam. While the rest of the Cyberverse Adventures deluxe figures were okay at best, I was really happy to complete building Macadam. Macadam's old oil house has been part of the Transformers mythos since the early G1 comics. It's great to not only see the character in the stories, but finally have a figure of him. Earthrise Quintesson Judge. Like the Alicon, we finally got a mainline figure of the Quintesson Judge. They gave him an alt mode because, you know, Transformers, but I'd have been perfectly fine without it. The head spinning gimmick is pretty awesome though. Innocent! Earthrise Hoist. While a solid figure on his own and quite large for a deluxe class, Hoist doesn't quite make the top 10, but I had to give him an honorable mention for, well, I think you can guess. Transformers Prime, War Breakdown, and Air Viacon. I didn't get these guys when they first came out due to not being released in the US. I was ecstatic when they got a re-release this year to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Transformers Prime so I can complete that collection. 10 years already? Well, on to the list. Number 10, Studio Series Blitzwing. While he still has those Starscream colors, Blitzwing here looks like he jumped straight off of the screen and has great looking bot and alt modes and a fun transformation. If only his chest would have someplace better to tab in, he'd have probably landed higher on this list. Number 9, Studio Series Leadfoot. Dark of the Moon got me back into collecting, and I was massively disappointed that there was no way to get a complete set of records from the movie since the deluxe class Leadfoot did not get a wide release. Thankfully, we got him in Studio Series, and to top it off, he looks great and is fun to transform. Back to the Future Gigawatt. I'm not usually big on the crossover figures, but I couldn't pass on Gigawatt. Yes, I know the proper way to pronounce the measurement unit is gigawatt, but this guy is based on Back to the Future, and in the movie, Doc Brown says gigawatt, so that's how I pronounce it. He's based on the excellent Siege Sideswipe mold, which heavily factors into why he's so good, but resembling that famous DeLorean coming with a Mr. Fusion, a flux capacitor, gull wing doors, and wheels that rotate for flight are all big reasons about why I picked him up. Number 7, Earthrise Scorponok. After watching a few other top bots of 2020 lists, it seems this guy's unofficial fan name is Scorponok. It's understandable, because this guy is so massive you can't help but grunt when you try to pick him up. What can I say that hasn't already been said? He's imposing, has great colors, the double headmaster Zerax are excellent, and he's a real presence in anyone's collection. Number 6, Generation Selects Seacons Piranacon. I'm a sucker for a bot with great garish colors, and the pinks and teals that make up the majority of this collection are fantastic. His sword that combines from all of the individual bots' weapons is stunning. They even found a way to incorporate the gimmick from G1 where any of the limbs can become a gun. He's not just a combiner, he's a target master. Number 5, Earthrise Optimus Prime. It's Optimus Prime, of course he's going to be on the list. After getting Siege Optimus Prime last year, I didn't think they'd be able to improve much. Boy was I wrong. The alt mode is near perfect, complete with trailer, and the bot mode is almost without flaws. If only they'd been able to find a way to hide those front wheels, then he would be perfect. Number 4, Earthrise Skylynx. I got the third-party Skylynx last year and it's a great toy, but this guy is a fraction of the price, nearly as big, just as stunning, and can actually manage to hold his neck in a pose. The Space Shuttle and Transporter modes, the separate Bird and Lynx modes, and the combined mode that we're all familiar with were all fantastic. He does have a base mode too, and I don't think many people will use it, but as far as unnecessary base modes go, It's really good. This is the definitive Skylynx for now, and likely for many years to come. Number 3, Studio Series Soundwave. Like Leadfoot, Soundwave never got a wide release in his Mercedes alt mode, so just getting a figure of him in this mode is a plus, but he turned out to be great. He has the looks, a satisfying and fun transformation, and even his buddy Laserbeak to hang out with. While I've been working from home this year, many bots have crossed my desk, but Soundwave has been a staple from the moment that I got him. And when I'm done here, he's heading right back to the desk. Number 2, Mastermind Creations Nemo and Motif, aka Chrome Dome and Rewind. These guys arrived very late in 2020 and barely made it in time to make this list, but here they are near the top. Chrome Dome and Rewind are two of my favorite characters from the IDW comics. Sure, we got figures of them in Titan's Return and the Collectors Club subscription service, but those figures don't quite capture their look from the comics. These guys look like they were pulled right off of the pages from the comics and into plastic form. Top it off with fun and intuitive transformation, and you've got two of my favorite bots of 2020 and probably well into 2021. Number 1, Transcraft Mohican, aka Mohawk. Mohican, or Mohawk here, makes it to the top of my list, even though he's based on an underused character in definitely, the worst Transformers movie to date, because he's fun. He looks great in both modes, and I especially like the details like the forks in his arms, which is straight out of the movie. His chopper mode is one of the best motorcycle alt modes I've seen. And being able to pose not just his mouth but also his big bug eyes allows him to be really expressive. But mostly he gets this top spot because he's just so much fun to pose and transform. By far, he was the figure that I would most pick up whenever I got that itch to transform something, and I would always make sure he was within reach on my desk. Well, that's the list. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite bots of 2020 were down in the comments. I'm Engineer Hoist. Keep rolling, my friends, and we'll see you next time.